John.
What's happening?
All right, let's start the session. You know what's going on. It's going to be a coaching session, rapid fire, me to help you, whatever you want. What issues you got for me today?
So the most exciting thing for me on July 17th, 2020, you and I have been in coaching for 6 months now. I was privileged to go up to Sports One Marketing on July 30th. I got to meet the entire team. You were doing a small coaching for the office there. It was my first time that I got to meet you. And when I met you, we talked about compounding interest. We talked about making New Year's resolutions. And at that time, I was building my barbecue company, which I've been doing for 12 years, as well as my media company, which has been more focused on in the last 4 years. You and I met because of a mutual friend, Scott Kaplan, the great sports broadcaster for Southern California. And a lot of the things that I read and connected to goodness and the playbook really resonated with me because I know that at some point I've always wanted to do something bigger than own one single unit restaurant. It's always been something bigger than that for me. And, we opened up our restaurant in 2008 in Spring Valley, which if anyone in real estate, they tell you location, location, location. They would definitely steer you away from Spring Valley. Any restaurant professional, hospitality professional would say, definitely don't open there. We did it and we cut our teeth, but we learned so much. We failed so much, but now we have finally in the position where we are because the coronavirus has proven to us financially what we knew all along is that digital first is how restaurants have to operate. For restaurants to be profitable, they have to be digital first. We've pivoted completely. We shut down our dining room, obviously, when everyone had to do that, which was on St. Patrick's Day here in the state of California. And now we've been doing delivery only, focused on all our delivery partners, as well as mobile first, ordering online, delivering through social. And we've really flipped the model upside down. So I know you have a 2-minute drill coming up. I'm going to practice my 2-minute drill, and then you can give me feedback on. So I'm going
to using his coaching session for his pitch. All right, let's do it.
Okay. So you're going to time me now, and then you give me feedback on my pitch.
Oh, I guarantee I'll give the 3-minute feedback on the pitch. Let's get the clock going here. This is awesome. I wasn't expecting it.
That's what I like. I like it when you don't expect it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Let's get the stopwatch right there. All right, you ready?
Ready. Ready, go.
All right, you got it.
The full service restaurant model is broken. It is way too expensive. The margins are way too thin to provide the type of hospitality that most restaurateurs and bar owners need to do. What we've known here in Spring Valley, Cali Barbecue Media, we're building a barbecue brand and a media brand. We plan on changing the entire model of what we do as a full service restaurant, reducing our footprint in half to create a commissary kitchen where we slow smoke all of our meats at one location, which will be where all of our specialized labor is. And then we're going to add not ghost kitchens, but branded ghosts. Because we care about media, because we care about marketing, we're going to find 5 locations, not based off of real estate metrics, but based off of search engine results and distribution. So for us, it's more of a technology play, a distribution play, and nobody can slow smoke barbecue like we can, and nobody knows how to market themselves like we can because we've been doing it out here on Troy Street for the last 12 years. Really, when we opened up in 2008, we learned early on that when you're in business, no one gives a shit about you. So you have to learn how to market yourself. You have to learn how to care about the thing that David is holding in his hand right now, which is the smartphone. The smartphone is where all the attention is. So if you're not on all the apps, if your brand isn't there, if you're not loud, people will not care about you. Thankfully, we've got an incredible team, and we've figured out a way to get people to pay attention, to care, but also to care about hospitality. Hospitality is the competitive advantage that we have over tech companies because heart is where tech is. So if there's a heart behind it, we know how to do things that technology companies don't do. And we're looking for your investment. $5 million, David. Do you know someone who can help me?
There you go. All right. Now we'll get the feedback. That's not easy, by the way. Let me just tell you. I know
it's not easy, which is why I wanted to do it. Isn't that what coaching is all about?
Yeah, it is.
Position.
And I put the clock up because I wanted to be fair to make it more difficult. When we see a clock, it is distracting. It is makes it exponentially more difficult. That's why even on elevator pitch, I'll put a big old clock in the elevator. Guys who are seasoned professionals that can easily articulate their pitch in 60 seconds. You put a clock in front of them. I've seen complete frozen executives not able to speak, and then the big I screwed up. All right, here's the feedback. Let's start with the first thing and most important thing: credibility. And so I would give your credibility a rating on that pitch as a 7. And I have to tell you that I have background on you. So the reason I gave you a 7 is I know so much more about the credibility of, what you are as an entrepreneur, as well as what the business has achieved, and what the possibilities, probabilities, and the reality of what you can achieve are. And I think you didn't articulate that well enough. Credibility, as you know, is the most important thing, because if you can ever reach, which I never have, 100% credibility, then no matter what you said, I would be writing a check right now for $5 million if you're 100% credible. So I think you sold yourself short. And I would practice telling your story of credibility, and tied into that story is the emotional attachment. I think in that you're about 7.5, 8. So people buy on emotion for logical reasons. I think you did a nice job of touching on the story and the emotional side of being in hospitality and digital and the et cetera. It was, your passion came through. You could tell, that you are as honest when you illuminated, we made mistakes. It was a long journey. Like, those are the things that I love to hear, because I'm looking for an entrepreneur that doesn't quit. And, the COVID story also emotionally, it's like, look, if this guy can expand and accelerate and grow during COVID, what can he do when things stabilize again? And that he sees an opportunity in the accelerated change that we've occurred to take advantage of that model that he may have dreamed of before COVID and accelerate that as well. So, I think, credibility can be worked on, emotional attachment as well. Both of those, just so you know, Sean, it is practicing telling a story.
Yeah.
Right. So I think what would really help is if you kind of put down the lessons that you've learned and tell the story either in chronological order or in economic order, or find some structure to your story that's thematic, that will give a logical, because remember, everyone, I know a lot more than most people. Most people never have heard this before. So they're going to remember about 0.01% of what you say.
Yep.
So your goal of that pitch is to, not only, indicate what you're trying to raise, but you want to, talk about as well, what do I get for the $5 million? Right? What percentage do I get? Whatever. So I think, the storytelling can be practiced and enhanced on the credibility and emotional attachment. Now, let's talk about the quantitative side. You have 2 minutes there. So we want to talk about and not hide from specific numbers that can help you, right? So in a period of time, however many years, this is what we've gone
through. Over $20 million in barbecue sales. We've did 3.3 million in sales last year in a location in San Diego that puts us at the top 1% of single unit independent restaurant owners, which is why we have relationships with all of our vendors that they love us.
Right. So here's the reasons we did those numbers. Here's the impact it had. Now, here's the capabilities we have with this new model, right? This is what you got into what the new model was with, the specialty people being at one location and the satellite distribution centers that are branded and digitally hosted, right? You could have got deeper into the quantitative side saying, look, imagine if we're doing millions of dollars the old way.
Yes.
We're able to do millions of dollars through this pandemic. Imagine with this new format, with the lessons that we've learned, with the content that exponentially grows and accelerates our brand. Imagine how much revenue we'll be able to achieve, not only this year, but imagine the acceleration and growth as the brand grows, the community grows. Look, there's no doubt over all of these years, the reason you're successful is you built a community. The community doubles every year. Right? We are only a tiny incremental way of of being there. With this model, we can scale to different cities, different states. We've done it in the worst location at the worst time with the best product and the best people, and we're only getting better. Right? These are all quantitative, emotional, credible things that you've achieved. So what I would do to go backwards is let's write a story. Right.
Okay.
Go ahead, list out, and everyone out there, this is a great exercise for you. List out the quantitative value, right? Because that's really what the story is going to go around. So if you list out year one, this quantitative value, reason, you maybe do 3 columns: reasons, quantitative reasons that this worked or didn't work, quantitative impact that it has, quantitative capabilities or lessons that you've learned, and go year by year, right? Up until this year, and then go month by month into this year. As you stated, December 31st, you came to one of my free Friday trainings, and now here we are almost 7 months later, and you're in a better position, both as a business, as a true hospitality business, but also as a platform, as a digital platform, as a brand, as a community. And I would like to see you kind of go through and write out each of these things quantitatively, and then tell the story around it while you're watching those quantitative things. So you can kind of talk through the 2 minutes in order, saying, here's where we started in the worst location. We should have, right? Here's some lessons we learned this, but yet we still survived.
Yes.
Then we grew a little bit. Now here we are in 2019, we did this. And now the pandemic hits on St. Patty's Day, and we accelerate what my vision was. We're able to do this, and we've doubled the amount of net revenue that we've done in the worst depression since the depression, or whatever it is. Right now, you come to the big close, which is considering where we started, considering how we've grown and the lessons we've learned, considering me and what I've done as an entrepreneur with the ability to must be what I can be and execute, not only during good times, but also in the most challenging times. What I'm looking for is $5 million for 20% of my business. The valuation is based on this. Can you see any reason you wouldn't want to invest? Or, David, do you know anyone that could help me?
Okay.
All right.
No, it's fantastic feedback. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've always been compelled by your content, but also appreciate the coaching sessions, because a lot of the times they're big ideas that I'm trying to work through. And some of these things that I'm working on right now, literally in the last 2 weeks, I've found a lot of answers to questions that I've been considering since we opened up the restaurant, because opening up another full service restaurant and sports bar never made financial sense.
Right.
But building a plan. What's that?
You dive an ulcer.
Exactly. But by putting myself in different positions, but also by verbalizing it to the universe, and by telling people, in using relationship capital, I've found myself doing more things, productive things, in the last 2 weeks, and seeing all different kinds of opportunities open up that I never had before. And this is all during coronavirus. And if there's a company that's built for tailgating and putting tables into a parking lot, that's us. But that's not what we're focused on. We're focused on, how do we actually execute this big idea? How do I get uncomfortable during a coaching call and broadcast it and use that content? But I guess one of the questions I have is, I know why I do it. Can you explain to people that might consume this, what's the advantage of actually telling people what you're going to do, as opposed to going down an NDA route where somebody's going to steal my ideas, I need to protect my secrets?
Yeah. So for me, there's 3 worlds, right? And that world that you talk about in NDAs, you're in a world of not enough. And if you want to live in the world of not enough, you're going to be a victim. Everything's going to happen to you. Then there's another world where you have a blend, and some people are more conveniently hiding different IP or solutions, and they live in a world of just enough. And if you do that, there'll be just enough for you. There'll be one little nice store in Spring Valley that might break even or make a little profit every year for you and your wife. But when you understand abundance, when you understand that you're going to now live, work, play in the world of more than enough, that you're going to share your ideas with everyone, because you know that when you study something, when you pay attention to it and give it your intention, what you think, say, do, believe, and the unconscious competencies that you have, different personality traits that are unique to you, characteristics, obsessions, and addictions that are unique to you. When you aggregate all of those into the world of abundance, it doesn't matter that everybody else knows, because you know the subtleties, you know the nuances. I can tell you exactly what I do every single day. In doing my coaching sessions, I give all my trainings for free in the hopes that people will learn what I do. And I've learned this over the years with content and teaching and all of that. And number one, it's not what I say, it's what they hear. But two, it takes years and years and years of teaching in order for people to pick up on not only the just basics, but let alone to get to any of the subtleties of what you're talking about when you're scaling your business with satellites and specialty talent and alcohol delivery. And it all sounds good, but the 0.001% that actually is listening, they're not understanding until they actually can experience it. That's why mentorship is so important. I'm going to give the secret sauce of mentorship, and we're doing it right here before I let you go before the weekend, my brother. And this is how simple the system works to scale. Here's Sean. Here's somebody that wants to learn from Sean. You need to watch Sean. You need to shadow Sean. You need to listen to Sean, watch his content, listen to his podcast, do all that. Then after that, Sean can give you every secret he ever knows. Then what you have to do is work with Sean and collaborate with Sean. Then you have to have Sean shadow you and watch you and give you the subtleties and tell you. Then you can go on your own and get a new person, and you can be the Sean, and you can have a new person that you put through the scalability system that's there. The amount of time, energy, emotion, attention, and intention, you're an idiot if you sign an NDA. Look, honestly, when you're a business like yours, look, I am a lawyer. I get that. I'm going to Johnson and Johnson.
This is why I wanted your opinion. Yes.
Yeah. If I go to Johnson and Johnson, right here, I'm going to protect, some engineering that I did or a formula. Look, we all get that, but we're talking about barbecue and hospitality brand, right? There's so many nuances that they could never cook what you have the way that you have. They could never distribute it what you know. They would have to live all those years and all the dummy tax that you paid and relationships that you have and the energy that you have in order to even get in your ball game, let alone if they got in your ball game, they probably would be broke within 6 months figuring, wait, he told me everything that he knew. No, it's impossible. And so live by this system, be abundant, keep on practicing, learning, but most importantly, what this guy has is the ability to must be what he can be. He enjoys the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of his own potential. Vote for what you want, my man. You're killing it.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. I want some good feeds, man. I haven't been down to San Diego, but I got to order.
We got some of those Meltzer margaritas for takeout.
All right. I'll be there. Have a great weekend. Thank you, everyone. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Look forward to everyone joining me on the pitch competition Friday, 11 a.m. Please join me, 949-298-2905 to register, david@dmeltzer.com to register. It's free, and it's me. And I want to thank everybody for joining it. Be kind to your future self. Do good deeds. Have a great weekend. We will see you next week.